Bellagio versus Cosmopolitan. They're two of the most famous and two of the most expensive properties on the Las Vegas Strip. But which one of these two hotels actually comes out on top? In this video, we're going to be doing the ultimate comparison so that you can determine which hotel is right for you. Make sure to watch until the end of this video, as the verdict might surprise you. Let's start with a quick overview of both properties. Bellagio opened in 1998 and is the older and more traditional property. It's also the more iconic property, having been featured in the movie Ocean's 11. As such, visitors from around the world flock to this hotel for its famous fountain show and uniquely elegant ambiance of Las Vegas luxury. Bellagio is situated on 77 acres, including an 8.5-acre man-made lake. Beyond the fountain show, other attractions include the world's largest glass sculpture, which can be found in the lobby, as well as the conservatory and botanical gardens, which receive an average of 20,000 visitors per day. Cosmopolitan is the newer and more modern property, having opened in 2010. Cosmo is Las Vegas's version of trendy, chic, and seductive luxury. Although it encompasses two massive towers, it was built on only 8.5 acres, which is a very small amount of land for such a big property. This is why, unlike the sprawling layout of Bellagio, Cosmo has 3 levels of public space where all the shops and restaurants are located. The signature attraction is the chandelier bar and its giant crystal chandelier. Cosmo is also very busy with lots of foot traffic, but not quite as busy as Bellagio. Now let's talk about the rooms at these two properties. Even though Bellagio is the older of these two properties, they just recently renovated all of their rooms, which was badly needed, as the previous rooms were dated and a little bit tacky. These rooms have breathed new life into the property, as the refresh was executed perfectly, with use of soft, pastel tones in line with the theme of Lake Como and southern Italy. The bathrooms now have a beautiful large shower, but this did come at a cost of removing the bathtub. The bathroom also does not have a water closet. And although the windows offer some of the most iconic views you'll find on the Strip, they're still not as large as the floor-to-ceiling windows you'll find at many of the newer properties on the Strip. Although Cosmo's rooms aren't as new as the Bellagio's, they were also renovated not too long ago, back in 2017 and 2018. Prior to that, the rooms were nothing special, which I can attest to as I stayed here once in 2012. The decor felt like what you would find in a typical Marriott or Sheraton. Cosmo actually considered 20 potential room designs and spent $2.5 million building 14 model rooms before moving forward with the refresh. The rooms are now stylish, modern, and contemporary. But beyond the design, the biggest advantage Cosmo has is its balconies, especially if you have a view facing north towards Bellagio. This adds a different dimension to your stay, as you can go outside, take in the view, and enjoy the incredible Las Vegas weather. Next, let's compare the dining options at both hotels. Bellagio overall has a wider assortment of fine dining options, including the critically acclaimed Le Cirque as well as Picasso. They also have quite a few other upscale restaurants, including Prime, Lago, Yellowtail, Spago, Michael Mina, and Mayfair Supper Club. You already know fine dining in Vegas doesn't come cheap, but because it's world famous and there's such a high demand, you'll pay an additional premium when dining at Bellagio's higher end restaurants. In terms of casual, less expensive restaurants, there are not nearly as many options, but they do have Sadelle's, which is a popular restaurant for breakfast and lunch. Sadelle's is also open for dinner on Friday and Saturday and offers a visually appealing upscale ambiance for a relatively reasonable price. Noodles and snacks are 2 other casual options. Bellagio also does have a buffet, but personally I wouldn't recommend it. The food is okay, but not quite the level of quality I expected at a resort like Bellagio. and for this reason, I prefer the buffet at the Cosmopolitan, which is called the Wicked Spoon. Beyond the buffet, some of the nicer restaurants you'll find at Cosmo include STK, Beauty and Essex, Scarpetta, Super Frico, and Blue Ribbon. From an award-winning fine dining standpoint, this lineup definitely is not on the same level as what you'll find at Bellagio. But generally speaking, Cosmo's best restaurants tend to be a bit less expensive than Bellagio's best restaurants. Quality of food is always going to be subjective, based on your own personal preferences. But personally, I've had very positive experiences when dining at the Cosmopolitan. Two of my favorites include Scarpetta and Beauty and Essex. I think they both offer an exceptional upscale experience for a good value. You'll also find a lot more casual dining options at Cosmo, including Cina Poblano, Momofuku, Ixla, Holstein's, as well as the food court with several other options. And what about the pools at both properties? Bellagio's pool complex is much bigger, a huge Italian-themed compound that includes multiple pools surrounded by a well-maintained, picturesque Mediterranean garden, statues, and hundreds of pine trees left over from the Dunes Golf Course, which is the property that was there before Bellagio. The pool is one of Bellagio's many assets that makes this feel like a true high-end luxury resort. Cosmopolitan has two pools, including the larger Boulevard pool, which is located right on the Strip and provides you with some cool, dramatic views in every direction. There's a good amount of space to spread out, but the actual pool is much smaller than Bellagio's main pool. So chances are, if you go in for a swim, you'll be in close proximity to other guests, which could be great if you want to meet people, but not so much if you're looking for tranquility. Next, let's take a look at both of the fitness centers. At Bellagio, you have a single large area on the second floor, adjacent to the spa. The space might feel a tiny bit dated, but there's more than enough equipment for your workout, and I really like the high ceiling. You also have nice, serene views into the pool complex. The Cosmo gym feels newer and more modern, as though you're working out at an Equinox. The space is more compartmentalized into different areas, but overall, it's just as big as Bellagio's gym, possibly even bigger. There's also an outdoor area, including a tennis court. What about the overall vibe at both properties? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I think Bellagio is the busier of the two properties. Practically every visitor to the Strip is bound to stop by the Bellagio at least once, regardless of where they're staying. There are rows of people surrounding the fountain show and mobs of visitors descending upon the conservatory. I think it has to be one of the most popular tourist spots in the world, at least it feels like it. Aside from that, the guests staying there generally seem to be a bit older and more subdued than what you'll find at the Cosmopolitan, but naturally you'll find a wide spectrum of people at both hotels. Cosmo, generally speaking, attracts a younger crowd who wants to live it up, and therefore has more of a party vibe. Keep in mind that Bellagio has no clubs, while Cosmo has the Marquee nightclub, which is one of the most popular clubs on the Strip. So if you want to party and meet people, this is a fantastic place to stay. If not, it's still an incredible place to be, but keep in mind that this property can get loud, specifically if your room is facing south towards Marquee nightclub. That's because the club is open 3 or 4 nights a week, and if there's a party going on, there's a good chance you will hear and feel the music in your room until 3 or 4 a.m. So which property comes out on top? For the overall winner, I am actually gonna go with Cosmopolitan. Now let me explain. If I had never stayed at either one of these properties and I had the option to choose one and stay in the base room, I would go with Bellagio. Objectively speaking, I have to say that it is the nicer property when you take everything into account. It's bigger, it's classier, and it's iconic. It's close to a bucket list item, and I would definitely recommend visiting. But here's the thing, oftentimes you can find a studio terrace at Cosmopolitan for about the same price as a base room at Bellagio, maybe a little more. And if that is the case, I have to go with Cosmo, especially if the view is facing north. Having the balcony truly does elevate your stay. And not only do you get an iconic fountain view, but you're also able to actually see Bellagio, which is really cool. And even though Bellagio has the more critically acclaimed restaurants, I think Cosmos are still fantastic and offer an even better value. But really, at the end of the day, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. If you made it this far, then I hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, then please make sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, leave a comment below. Which one of these two properties do you think is the winner? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.